video in which we will discuss the main points we went over during the last meeting with our professor. First, we will discuss the article of McKinsey, the one with the 5 R's. And then we will discuss the AGI webinar with Professor Chen's ideas. First, we will start with the McKinsey article.
Yes, the McKinsey article is entitled The Path to the Next Normal. The main idea of this article is that we will witness a dramatic reconstruction of the economic and social order in which businesses and society are operating in currently. There is a call now to act across five stages leading from the crisis of today to the next future, to the next normal, of course, after winning the battle against the coronavirus. Basically, this process is determined through 5 stages, 5 R's: resolve, resilience, return, and reimagination and reform. The resolve is defined as a settle or find a solution, while in this article it is defined as the need to determine the scale and the pace of the depth of actions required at the state and at the business levels. The resilience in this article is the need to recover the economic downturn as a necessity, but it's not enough. There is also the need that businesses will have to act on a broader resilience plan as the shock begins to upturn established industry structures, resetting competitive positions forever. Now, for the return, there will be a need to reactivate all the supply chain of businesses, of course, and there will be the need to expand testing and surveillance capabilities for the health system capacity, the vaccine and retreatment development to deal with the second surge, as a quick return might cause even a bigger crisis in the next winter. Now, for the 2 last R's, I will leave Yasmin to explain them.
For the reimagination, institutions that reinvent themselves as the preferences evolve will succeed. In other words, businesses who match the reshaped customer behavior because of the online commerce have more chances to succeed. This crisis reveals an opportunity of business, an opportunity of improvement of performance. In this crisis, leaders should reconsider what is ultimately required versus what it is nice to have, and decisions on the operations and productions are supposed to be made since the production and sourcing are moving closer and closer to the end customer more than before. As a result to these points, there will be established a stronger sense of what makes businesses more resilient to shock, more productive, and better able to serve customers. The fifth and the last R is reform. Governments are supported by their citizens to take more active role in shaping economic activity. Likewise, business leaders need to anticipate popularly supported changes to policies and regulations. Reforms on the levels of policies on healthcare, infrastructures, key supplies and resources, and critical medical equipment production need to be considered. The educational institutions need to consider modernizing its tools and ways in order to provide better tools to its students. Excuse me. The aftermath of the pandemic offers an opportunity to learn from social innovations and experiments ranging from working from home to large-scale surveillance. A result of these reforms will lead to a substantial uplift on the economic and the social welfare levels in all countries. The 5 R's offer leaders a clear path to begin innovating on the next normal since the pandemic has changed everything. Now we move to discussing the AGI webinar with Marwa Bakhali.
So the webinar is mainly a discussion of the impact of the coronavirus on the global economy. We can easily see that Dr. Shen is optimistic about the situation and can consider the coronavirus as an opportunity for countries to reconstruct their economic basis. So he discussed the short-term and long-term effects. For instance, the current stock market in the US went down to 35%, China went down to less than 10%, and the UK to 32%. So the short-term impact is expected not to be so bad. As a matter of fact, 73% of Chinese people are now back to work and to school. And concerning the long-term impact in China, it's expected to shift from the privately owned companies to the state-owned companies, because the privately owned companies witnessed a 21% loss during the epidemic of the coronavirus, while the state-owned companies, they went only through 7% of loss. What is more, it is expected that the US will want to cut their over-dependence on China when it comes to the supplies and to manufacturing products, which may create deglobalization and geopolitical problems. For instance, we can find the Chinese government talk that through harsh words accusing the US that it was the one behind creating the coronavirus in the first place. Not to forget that the decrease in the price of the fuel and the oil will push the solar and wind energy and other types of energies to increase, since they are highly related. And in the same regard, Dr. Shen stated that the US are now speeding up by taking hard financial decisions, like the decision of the Federal Reserve of decreasing the interest rate down to 1%, and the discussion of the White House to have a grant of $22.5 trillion. So to sum up, Dr. Chen is advising the US specifically and all the countries on general to give time to the economy and take a financial holiday, care more about the health services, and take this coronavirus epidemic like a chance to reconstruct their system, their health care services, education services, as well as the economic state, and to allow the country to heal correctly. So thank you for your attention, and bye.